Hey, what's going on? It is Steph here from stephjking.com, coming to you from beautiful Brisbane, Australia. Today I'm going to give you some tips for dealing with stress and anxiety. We are just trying to do the best we possibly can, and I find that this day and age there's just so much that we're trying to balance in our life, and it can get so hard. So I completely understand the amount of stress and anxiety, and even in some cases depression that is being experienced because there's just so much pressure on us to just have everything in order and just to be good at everything as well. So I think it's really important to make sure that we understand the level of stress that is in our lives, just in our day-to-day, everything that we do. There seems to just be so much stress involved in it. And I think to make a conscious decision to make sure that you're doing the best that you can through self-care and loving yourself and doing what you can just to reduce the anxiety and the stress that you may be feeling is something that needs to be front of mind, just based on the fact that there is a lot of stress in everyday life at the moment. So I want to share with you a few tips on what I particularly do in regards to dealing with stress and anxiety. Just a little bit of background on my story with it. I've suffered from severe stress in the past, and I've also had anxiety for a little bit as well. So a couple of years ago, I ended up having an anxiety attack at work, and that led to me dealing with very high stress levels, and it was as a result of long-term stress as well. And then what I found was, even though I felt like I dealt with it at the time, a couple of months later, what I was noticing was I started to have issues with my breathing, and I didn't know what it was. I kept going back to the doctors, and I ended up going to see a natural therapist, a kinesiologist, and we actually addressed the core issue. And it was actually a result of long-term severe stress that had been put onto me and my body over the years. And we were able to address it and fix it up at the time. But I am someone that does get easily overwhelmed, which can very quickly turn into stress if I'm not careful. So I try and stay on top of it as best as I can. So I hope these tips are going to help you if you are in the same boat as me. First tip for you is to use essential oils. And oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't know about oils earlier than what I did. I think I've only been using them for about 6 months, and they are amazing, and you can just use them for so many different things, but stress and anxiety is definitely one that I use them for. So I use these in my diffuser at nighttime. So just before I go to sleep, I turn it on. If it needs filling up, I add in some water, and then I do about 5 to 6 drops of frankincense and then 5 to 6 drops of lavender oil. And then what I'll also do is I'll put a bit of lavender oil on the bottom of my feet and also just below my ears here. And I found that that helps so much, particularly when I'm trying to go to sleep. If I've had a stressful day or my anxiety is playing up a little bit, this just really calms me down and helps me drift off to a peaceful sleep. My second tip for you is to meditate, or if you are not into meditation, you're completely against it, then at least learn some deep breathing techniques. Because what I find is when you stop yourself and you start to focus on your breath, it actually brings you back to your present moment in time. So sometimes what you'll find is stress and anxiety, it comes from you worrying about a situation, and normally it's either worrying about something that's happened in the past or worrying about something that might be happening in the future that you just have no control over. So if you can bring yourself back to the present moment, and you can do this through breathing or through meditation, you will find yourself just so much more in the moment and just at peace, because you're just dealing with life one step at a time. My third tip for you is to talk it out, whether it's with your mum, your dad, your brother, your sister, your spouse, a friend, a counselor, someone at work, whoever it is, your neighbor, your dog. If you can just communicate what it is that you're anxious about or what is worrying you, then most of the time, once you get it out, you'll start to process it a little bit better in your mind. I know this is particularly for women. I'm not too sure about men. don't know if this will help you guys. Let me know, leave me a comment below and let me know if it is something that does help you talking it out with one of your mates. But I just find that if I am really stressing about something, I will talk to someone about it, because most of the time they will either listen to me and I'll figure it out by myself, or they'll just give me some really good advice. Or even some of my closest friends are like, Stephanie, get over it. It's not even that important. Because sometimes I stress out over the most stupidest things. So I love it that I'm close enough with some people that they can just like pull me back in and just be like, stop it, get over it. Now, my fourth tip is, if you are not comfortable in actually talking about it with someone, then maybe you just need to sit down and journal about it, because then that way you can still be open and honest about the situation and you're getting it out of your head, so that you can actually stop thinking about it and actually release it by putting it down on paper. And I also find this really helpful as well, because sometimes I can't get on the phone to someone all the time if I'm stressed out. And it's just nice to be able to get your thoughts onto a piece of paper each day, because that just helps you keep balanced and you don't let it work up to the point where you're like, oh my gosh, now I really need to journal. So if you can try and make it a daily habit or a regular habit, then you'll find that you'll be able to keep on top of it just that little bit better. Now, my fifth tip is something that I've been really bad and not been doing lately, and that is exercise. And I tell you what, I can tell the difference, because when I think back to the times where I've been really focused on exercising and my fitness, I just remember that feeling of happiness and just being in such a better mindset altogether, and just being happier in general in every area of my life, because you're moving your body and you're releasing the toxins and you're just have these endorphins running through your body as well. So exercise is definitely important, and I definitely need to listen to my own advice and get back into it. So that is something that I need to put on my to-do list, is get back into exercise, figure out what I want to do and just book it in and do it. Now, my sixth tip is to get a bit of vitamin D into you. So get out and get the sun on your skin. I always find that when I do get some sun during the day, I read somewhere that if you got 15 minutes of sun time a day, that would give you enough vitamin D that you need. That obviously depends on where you live. Obviously, I live in a beautiful sunny area in Queensland in Australia, so we do get a lot of sunshine. Some places don't. And I think that I personally feel a massive difference when I do actually get sun versus the days that I don't. I just find that I'm more energized during the day because of it, and then I also sleep really well at night. And when I'm lacking vitamin D, I just feel tired constantly. So get yourself out, go for a walk, or just sit in your backyard or on your balcony and just soak up some of that good energy from the sun. And my last and final tip for you, and this is a little bit different that you may not have heard before, and that is earthing. So what earthing is you getting in touch with the earth. So back in the day, we used to always be in connection with the earth. So just like the sun, the earth is also energetic, and it can actually transfer the energy from the earth into our bodies. So this day and age, we actually spend a lot of our time indoors, whether it's in the office or at home. And then when we do actually go outside, we're not in bare feet. We've always got shoes on. So that's actually disconnecting our ability to connect with the earth. So what I highly encourage you to do is take your shoes off and just go walk around for as long as you possibly can each day. So whether you get yourself into some dirt, or you just walk on some nice green grass, or even the beach. I love walking along the sand and being near the water as well. That's just a whole new other level of energy for me. And this day and age with technology, there's all sorts of stuff that you can do to be able to earth whilst you're inside as well. I spend a lot of time at my desk on my computer, so I have an earthing mat which is connected to my PowerPoint, which is earthed to the ground. And I also have a earthing sheet that I put onto my bed as well. And that also just helps with sleep and resting and recovering my body for the next day. Because what you'll find is in our bedroom, we have like a lot of technology. I don't know about you, but I have a TV in there. I've got my mobile on my bedside table. You've got a lamp. There's all sorts of stuff that's in your bedroom that is giving off a frequency of energy, and it's not always good for the body. So I find having that earthing sheet on my bed actually helps reduce that. And to be honest, I'm looking at trying to reduce it even more by, I'm definitely getting rid of my TV in my bedroom as well. So get outside, do some earthing, get some vitamin D, and you'll be amazed at how you will feel. Again, you'll just feel energized during the day. You'll feel a lot calmer, and you'll be able to sleep really well at night as well. And that's also important, is to getting enough sleep, rest, and recovery. So those are my tips for you on how to deal with anxiety and stress. I hope you did get value out of those tips and you do implement them into your life. If you are new, then please do hit that subscribe button. I share a bunch of cool videos on all sorts of topics. So hit that notification bell so you can get notified next time I do upload as well. If you are a subscriber, then welcome back. It was lovely to have you here again. Take care, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.